Testing 1, 2, 3. No. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Sorry, it is working. Okay, welcome to the Node Foundation CTC meeting for the 24th of May 2017. Sorry for the delay. That was my fault. Two computers here broadcasting, and haven't done broadcasting for a couple of months now. So yeah, we've got a small group and a small agenda, so we can plow through it. We have on the line today myself, Rod Vag. We've got Sakura Pion from India, Joy Chung from China, Anne Henningsen from Germany, Michael Zazo from... Where are you, Michael? You're in Switzerland?
Yes, Switzerland.
Trevor Norris, who's really early in the US. And Rich Trott is on and off as well, but it's very early for him. So time for announcements. If there's anyone that has an announcement of something that's going on, please let us know. Otherwise, we can move on. Nope, okay. No announcements. Can you guys hear me in Uber conference? Yeah, Saxophone. Thank you. So let's have a look at the previous agenda. So a meeting I wasn't in. Had to skip this one. The agenda for last week, the things that were dealt with was looking at string decoder, bringing that into the foundation. That's a dependency of readable stream. It's a thing that's been extracted from Node Core, and it was just about moving it officially into the foundation so that it can be managed alongside readable stream and some of the other dependencies that go along with that. There was discussion about the early exit process on unhandled promise rejections. So I'm not sure what the outcome of that was. That was issue number 12734. The inspector restoring the debug break alias that had been sort of dropped. That was issue number 12580. There was discussion about OpenSSL 1.1.0, possibly landing on Node version 8. That's not going to happen, but it's interesting anyway to talk about OpenSSL 1.1 and whether it will land in Node 9 or 10. Issue number 11828, that was the discussion, but that's since been closed, I believe. And then something else on the agenda today was inverting the dependency between core and readable stream. We'll get to that again today. And there was an update on 8.0.0. There is there's a release candidate out of that today if you would like to download that. So today's meeting, we have issue number 13005 on the Node Core repo, which is titled Overridable Keep Alive Behavior for Agent. So I'm not sure if there's anyone here to discuss this with authority, but Ben's here. But the idea here is just to provide another method on the agent object, so that when you override and make a custom agent, you can implement some new behaviors that are otherwise tricky to do. One of them is handling keep alive events. The other one is reuse socket. So Fedor introduced this, and I don't believe there's any contention about it. There's a couple of LGTMs in there. I've given mine, James. Any comments about this? Any concerns?
Why is it on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure. Read that. I think maybe he wasn't getting enough reviews. Maybe felt like it was a major.
CTC review, not CTC agenda.
No, it's the CTC agenda.
Yeah, I mean, Fedor tagged it with the CTC agenda label, but he should have added CTC review, at least. Yeah, he wants CTC people to look at it, so.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that's very contentious. I think that's pretty straightforward. There's a good case for those in there. So we'll just. So the next one is again. This is in the Node EPS repo, issue number 49, or pull request number 49, which is about inverting the dependency between core and readable stream, something we've been talking about since like before IOJS days. And there is a little bit of discussion in that, and also the issue for this meeting, some concerns about the different aims of the groups. So is the readable stream the right place, the right team, or the streams team the right team to manage that core code, or are they too focused on browser compatibility and backward compatibility? Matteo, unfortunately, can't be here to talk about this, but does anybody have anything new to add to this? I'll say, just to add some flavour, that I think this is a good idea. I've been pushing for this from the beginning, and one of the main reasons is that streams is an area that the core group, the CTC, and the collaborators have very little shared expertise in and interest in maintaining, and the streams group has all the people that care about this stuff and really understand it. And I think they'd be better placed to manage the core stuff. And the fact that their mission has been about compatibility in userland and browsers and backward compatibility is simply a fact that a result of them not having any authority over the core stuff. They have to come through the normal collaborator chain. But I'm +1 on this move. Anyone else have anything to add? Or has there been any discussion that anyone's aware of about how to move forward on this, or is it going to take somebody calling a vote? Because I know it's been on the agenda a lot. Yeah, Brian White had some opposition, but that was the same as Andreas's. You mentioned Andreas's opposition there. Okay. This is not going to happen for Node 8 anyway. So I think what needs to happen, my opinion, what needs to happen is simply that somebody needs to call for a vote at some point after Node 8 goes out and resolve it. And the two sides need to put up their best cases, which I actually think is being done there. Andreas is and Matteo are doing a good job in there discussing the issues. Okay. Are there any other agenda items that we should have covered that are not? Right. Well, I'll mention quickly the CTC review items that if anyone wants to look at them who's listening in, or anyone on the call who hasn't seen these already. There's issue number 12010, which is exit process on unhandled promise rejection cleanup. That needs attention from CTC. Issue number 12701, which is confirmation that the stability definition is correct. We're still circling around getting that pinned down. And then there's the other unhandled rejection. There's eagerly exit. The one thing was on last week's agenda. 12734 still needs attention. And then there's a dechartering of the docs and testing working groups, which is in the CTC repo pull request number 121. I imagine there will be a vote called on that at some point soon. That's all that's on review at the moment. Nothing else from anyone? Okay, so Q&A time. If anyone listening to the live stream would like to ask questions of the CTC, we have a chatty bunch here today, so feel free to ask some interesting questions about core activity. I'll give you time to do that while you catch up to our audio. In the meantime, I'll read out the upcoming events. There is a Node.js Foundation calendar, which you can go to nodejs.org calendar and to a Google Calendar. You can have your own calendar and have all the working groups and whatnot in it. There's a CTC meeting next week, of course, and the TSC meeting is scheduled for tomorrow at the normal TSC meeting time, I believe, or has it changed? It's not on the calendar, so something's wrong there. Maybe it's been rescheduled. There's also a diagnostics working group meeting happening in 2 days, and there's also a community committee meeting happening a little bit after that as well. So that's, if you're interested in getting involved in Node, either of those would be interesting to get onto. These are open meetings. So looking for Q&A from the listeners. There's nothing in there. Anything on Twitter or IRC? Nope. Okay. That's it then. So just quickly check them. Yep. That's all. I'm just reading the comments in here. Cool. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining.
Just so you know, Refak asked in IRC, okay, and he said never mind, but he talked about, quote, ditching Fedora 22. I'm not really sure what he's talking about, but...
He's talking about the Fedora 22 build bot that's been causing trouble lately.
Yeah.
I think the consensus is to just remove it because Fedora 22 is end of life, has been end of life for almost a year now.
On a related
okay, sure.
matter, yeah, I think a couple of Fedora ones need to be removed. I was fixing 23 today, and 25 went offline as well. Sorry, this was something I was supposed to catch up on today, but there's the CentOS strategy issue.
CentOS strategy issue?
Yeah, so build repo issue number 718, which is the fact that we're building all our binaries on CentOS 5 to get libc 2.1.2 2.5. 2.11.
Oh.
Anyway, it's an old 2 point something. Oh, 2.5. No, you're right. Sorry, it is 2.5. But that's end of life, like now. And if we're going to go ahead with Node version 8 on that, we're going to have to keep on supporting that for the life of version 8. So the suggestion was to move to CentOS 6 for building Node version 8 and beyond. That gives us libc compatibility 2.1.2. I won't belabor it here, but issue number 718 in the build repo, that really needs to get, if anything's going to happen, it needs to happen in the next week or so before version 8 gets pushed out. There is some discussion in there that I need to catch up on, obviously. Anyway.
Sorry. So, is the version 6 binaries still going to be built on CentOS 5, or are all the release lines going to be built on CentOS 6?
That's a good question, and I think the answer for now is simply that I think it should be considered a major change to change the libc version of the binaries on our website, but that's arguable.
Yes, because I know a lot of people in China are still using CentOS 5.
Yeah.
So if the binary is not going to work on CentOS 5, that could be a problem. But if
Yeah,
it's
I'm
only
pretty
Node
sure.
version 8, that would be okay, because you can just still have some time to for upgrade.
Yeah, I think it would be wrong of us to midstream break everyone's binaries. So, you know, people do an NVM or whatever else they do, and it just stops working on their machine. Like that really is SemVer major territory. So it would have to happen, I think, in SemVer major change. My concern is simply that we're going into a Node 8 LTS period. So if 3 years from now we're going to be supporting Node 8, and so that's another 3 years of CentOS 5. Okay. Anyway, so that discussion can happen in there. I'll try and push forward that discussion, and I'll and even fire up a release machine for that, just to attach it so that we can be prepared and maybe even do some testing. I'll take that one. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for listening in, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Do we have a private section today?